Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Wile.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves in the midst of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, having started a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus.
And tonight we return to the Mammal Metropolis to bring you Zootopia Plus. Good old Michael Giacchino.
Yeah.
His son actually worked on this, I believe.
Yeah, I blew him. I gotta tell you, man, it really shows you how far how time passes, man. Because I remember they kind of explored the Giacchino family on the Werewolf by Night assembled
The
documentary.
Director by Night.
Yeah, Director by Night thing that they did, but yeah, as part of the assembled line. Yes, it kind of got into his family and such. And again, it tells you, it shows you, like, man, Giacchino's been in the business for a long time. He has a son who's kind of chasing the Giacchino magic, kind of the Giacchino awards.
Yeah, basically one of the earliest things that he worked on was actually video games. Like one of his biggest things, and when he was first starting was, like, I believe, Warpath Jurassic Park, the video game.
I forget if Giacchino's like one award away from an EGOT, because I think he's like a Tony away from an EGOT or something.
I believe so, because because obviously he's won a couple Oscars.
Yep.
What did he win an Emmy for?
Well, I mean, he's probably won an Emmy for something. I don't know off the top of my head. I know he's been nominated. I'm sure he's been nominated for Emmys for he scores the music. He's done, for television shows and that.
I mean, just because obviously he did Lost and all that.
That's the thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's won at least one. But
and I don't think he's done anything in theater.
That's the thing. That's the main kind of area he's missing. So
Alan Menken as recently as in like last year or the year before became an EGOT.
Yeah, the Mank.
The Mank, yes.
Anyway,
I think obviously we know his whole Oscar thing, because he's like one of the most awarded Oscars of all time.
Yeah,
he won Tony. I think he won Tony for Newsies and probably other stuff with Howard Ashman.
What do you call a jacket worn by Alan Menken?
A what?
A Menk coat.
Do you want me to mute you, Dragon?
No.
Usually I'm the one who does these kind of lame jokes.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. And he actually won, and as I was saying, obviously he's won Grammys for his work on the movies as well. And he won a Daytime Emmy Award for his work on Tangled, the animated series.
Perhaps we should refocus here back to...
I know. I just wanted talking about the EGOTs.
Anywho, welcome, folks. We're talking Zootopia Plus, the announced I think we initially all assumed it was going to be kind of a sequel, kind of in the world building of Zootopia Plus. Not quite the case, but still.
Well, except those who actually read the press announcements up front and actually knew it was just a series of shorts.
Yeah, I just think this kind of public kind of consensus was thinking like, hey, more Zootopia. But then again, yeah, you're right. There's more to it.
It's more of like a mid-quill kind of thing.
Well, yeah, so that's the interesting thing to talk about, Jacob. So yeah, this is exploring the supporting cast of Zootopia and the world building through shorts that kind of act as mid-quills. Very much like, I think the best example for what this is, it's like, Jacob, you saw Bernie, right?
Bernie?
Yeah, Bernie.
Oh, you mean the Wall-E short?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's called Bernie. Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie. Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You just kind of like, wait, Bernie what?
No, Bernie. Well, you get it.
Yeah, I know now. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's like, the folks out there.
It's kind of like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead kind of thing.
Exactly.
Except less overall plot interaction.
Exactly. So, kind of that, or I guess somewhat of like kind of a Lion King 1.5 is like a kind of probably another well-known example, but
which is basically a direct Lion Kingization of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Exactly. I'm just saying, you're right. All this is obviously very much a derivation of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. But still, it's quite this is always kind of a fun concept we don't see often employed. But when it is,
Well, obviously, the main difference here is that these don't really affect the main plot of the actual of its source film as much as
true.
those ones do, which is why I use the term. Like even Bernie really doesn't affect the plot of Wally that much.
That's
So
what I'm saying. So this is more in line with Bernie then, because it doesn't really affect it as much. Like,
I know it was just a thing that was just the first thing that popped in my head besides Bernie.
yeah.
But Midquel, that's a working title, but
Anywho,
but but I do see your connection with Bernie, considering like you actually do see Bernie, I think, in the original movie, but you actually see what it was that Wally was inadvertently causing him a bunch of trouble.
yeah, it's like Bernie's worst day ever.
Yeah, when he finally fixes it, he's just gets sent flying back to Earth.
Yeah,
We should really talk about Bernie one of these days.
that
I
we
mean,
should.
especially since Wally's become more relevant now that it's been on the way of adding to the Criterion collection.
Yeah, which I was crestfallen to learn the features on that are not exactly as mind blowing as you might think.
But it's still a prestigious honor, though.
It is a prestigious honor for sure, and Andrew Stan really campaigned for that. But again, we are drifting away from
Yeah,
Zootopia.
yeah, I know. But
So we have commenters.
we have commenters. One from way before the podcast began. Monkey says the Mr. Big episode was easily the best one.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Like, oh, food. It's like,
Fooey to you.
who, who, who was one of our regulars actually.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It was a great series of shorts. Agreed.
saying hi,
Hi.
and also my favorite being the first one.
Which we'll get to very soon.
But yeah,
But overall, Jabe, I think this is well done, and each had a kind of each very much differed in style, and I appreciate that.
like it helps that there was that kind of like Baymax, which we didn't really discuss on this actual podcast. It helps that it was animated actually in house at Walt Disney Animation Studios instead of being farmed off.
Cool.
Pun not intended.
no,
I mean, I said unintended dragon.
still.
It wasn't farmed off to like it wasn't outsourced. I guess would be a more correct word. But
Yeah.
but
What? Okay, I'm just going to get us off track. And do you remember what the hops farmed exactly? Was it just like a general farm, or did they do specifically berries, or was that like the?
I think they do like different kinds of farm because they are shown to like they have night howlers on their property
Uh huh.
because ward off predators. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they grow carrots and obviously berries, and
Okay.
they do trade with Gideon Gray.
All right. So it sounds like kind of like produce and fruit, perhaps.
Seems like it,
Or
yeah.
at the very least, they do produce and they have just kind of fruit as like a thing they trade or something. So something along those lines.
Yeah.
Anyway, agriculture aside, we are so folks, we're going to break down the shorts, kind of give kind of highlight real what we liked about the shorts or what we want to talk about from the shorts, see how they kind of stacked up against each other. We got 6 to talk about, and there you go. Let's start with.
I think the best thing to say about it is like it shows that there are more stories to be told in the world of Zootopia.
Yeah, I mean the world, and the best thing about Zootopia was it had mind-bendingly cool world building. I mean, I love the landscape of Zootopia and just how because again, Zootopia, look at it from the marketing standpoint, be okay, we're bringing back anthropomorphic animals, but in a modern setting. Yippee! Okay, so it's Robin Hood with a cell phone. Okay, but it was far more than that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, and of course, I mean, it's the world building itself, and obviously there's a very much complex, interesting political contexts to it. It had a lot going for it. And also, great cast. Jennifer Goodwin just for me, she stole the heart of that movie. She was fantastic.
Jason Bateman, of course, knocked out of the park.
Yeah, one of the Jason Bateman performances I liked.
Yeah. I take it you're not a big fan of him generally.
No, it's not that I'm not a big fan of him. It's that I think some performances. I think I like the ones where he kind of stands out more versus the ones where it's just generally like, "Hey, I'm Jason Bateman," just kind of like going around all smiley and kind of a little smarmy.
Even though that's kind of literally what his directions were for this movie.
Oddly, but I think we get more. I don't know. I think we get more kind of meat story wise than we do ordinarily, even though he was directed to play it that way. So I don't know. I think it worked. I think the substance kind of anyway.
That is fair. And Afui has the answer. They grew different kinds of edible fruits and veggies. Since Gideon did pies, most likely apple, berries, which we mentioned, pears, rutabaga, pumpkins, and yams.
You ever have rutabaga pie?
No. And
neither have I.
Basically, the only pie I eat is pumpkin pie.
Likewise.
Like either or the occasional ice cream pie.
There's an ice cream pie?
Yeah, like one of the things that I always used to do for my birthday was like they got an Oreo crust pie and had mint chocolate chip ice cream in it.
Huh. Okay, so that's why they have those pies at the Cold Stone and everything. There are ice cream pies. Okay.
Yep, there are like I swear that's not just another one of our bits of recurring ice cream bits.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like honestly, Jacob, myself, and Tiki to a degree. We're basically we're going to the Goofy Goober every night from SpongeBob. You know, we're going to the ice cream bar. You know,
Like there's a chocolate pie.
true,
But that is true. But to be fair, I usually go for pumpkin pie.
but
If there's a banana pie, I'd probably like that. I mean,
maybe.
okay, we're getting off topic again.
Baby wants pie.
Anyway, it's like as you say, yeah, the world building in this movie and then these shorts, they don't really add to the world building. They more add to the characters and the overall world building. But it is still nice to see these like unique collection of characters again. So
Yeah.
and
All right.
one more thing, my favorite is pumpkin, so I can't say anything.
All right. So let's dive right into to hop on board.
Hop on board. The style of this movie is basically more of like kind of like an action movie kind of.
Yeah, this is the broadest action with we have one of Judy Hop's siblings, Molly. You know, she basically is following Judy on a train, basically during her big goodbye as she leaves home and she enters Zootopia. But we're seeing what if we saw that scene from the outside of the train, or at the very least through the ancillary eyes of the train.
Yeah, where one of Judy's probably hundreds of little sisters
Yep.
boards the
Judy.
Judy boards
And
the,
yeah.
she accidentally boards the train, probably not one knowing what's going on, and gets taken basically on a ride to Zootopia.
And basically, you have Stu and Bonnie going in a kind of a high speed chase, trying to basically hop the train and get the kid back.
Hop the train.
Yeah,
Did you do that on purpose?
a little bit.
All right.
So basically, it's kind of like a Tom and Jerry sort of like you've seen this kind of the old Warner Brothers logic here. It's kind of Tom and Jerry sort of like baby and baby
kind of
and peril comedy.
like a Tot Watchers kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's the name of their final short, which happened to be them watching Baby.
Right.
Well, coincidentally enough, it also involves somebody on the phone. In this case, though, it was just Judy not listening to music, not just listening to music.
Take out the earbuds.
It's like I feel bad for Stu. He went through so much pain in this episode.
How great was the effects on that scene when he's going through like all the kind of the different land areas of Zootopia, and he's going to he's like in burning heat of the desert to he's freezing in the tundra.
Like, let's see that I forget the name of the desert. Like, there's like because I know they all have names because there's
I know one's Tundra Town. I forget what the
there's Tundra Town. I forget the let's see to the internet.
It's been a while since we've watched Zootopia. I should probably
although it definitely made me want to watch it again.
It does for sure. Because I remember, oh man, I love the design of everything about Zootopia. Man, it's awesome.
Districts in Zootopia: Sahara Square, Tundra Town, Bunny Burrow, Rainforest District, Savannah Central, and Little Rodentia.
Okay, well I definitely know that one. We'll get into the origin of Little Rodentia.
Yep, basically, I'm guessing like Zootopia itself is like the center of it, and those are like its suburbs.
Yeah, well, it's like the boroughs of New York. Ideally, it's kind of like it's kind of the island with the 5 different sections.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
all right, let's see.
But yeah, like we see like him going through like the different areas and biomes of Zootopia, which is kind of interesting. Like we got to see him in the blistering heat. We got to see him frost over. We got to see him get soaked in the water.
Yeah.
Props to the animators, by the way.
Absolutely.
Because water is hard enough. Fur is hard enough. Wet fur is probably a nightmare.
Let alone rain.
Exactly.
So, I mean, honestly, I think the standout of all this, despite all the really cool action, was just the fact you had this happy-go-lucky, very adaptable couple, like the love story between Bonnie and Stu. They have great, they have great chemistry. It's like, what if Ma and Pa Kent were in like a high-speed adventure, a high-speed chase?
Yeah, that was great. Like seeing, but like just like the whole casual nature of it. Like obviously they were worried, but they were just there's just a casual, mundane nature to it.
It's like Stu's got sweaty hands, so he drops the keys. And what does Bonnie do? She's adaptable. She hotwires the car.
And then he has to can't get to the password, so he unlocks it with face cam.
But you know what? It also answers the question: how the heck is Judy Hopps so smart and intuitive? Well,
She
she
got it
got
from
it from her folks.
yeah. Did you notice that the name of the helper on the phone was named Deary?
Yeah, it's great. Honestly, I love the money in Zootopia later on because we have like bucks and it's like there's a buck on it.
Yeah.
Also, I love my favorite. I gotta tell you, my favorite small detail in the whole thing. It's a very simple thing.
And you mean in this episode?
No, no, in the just the other one, in the in the third one.
In Duke the musical.
Yeah,
All right, let's. All right, what
I
is it?
love that the symbol for money in Zootopia is a Z instead of an S.
Yeah, that is pretty
It's my
fun.
favorite little detail. Like, oh my god, that's so cute.
You can tell these guys really like thought out and went had fun with all these extra little details that most people probably wouldn't even notice.
I gotta wonder, like, what did this? I don't know what there's probably some substantial competition here, but like, which do you think this might be this movie with the best world building if you had the like Disney movies specifically?
I mean, recently maybe. I mean, of course. I mean, see, what is it?
I mean, that's I'm saying thinking back to like world building to this degree. I mean, can you really?
Well, I mean, Ryan the Last Dragon had a lot of world building to it as well.
I mean, it did, but still not to Zootopia degrees though. In terms of like everything is figured out.
Oh yeah, there. That is true. I mean, I'm just saying, talking about other movies with other one of their movies with good world building. I
Like
mean,
for example, I don't know if
I
we
mean,
necessarily would count this, but I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas has some great world building as well. But then you have, there's
I say Encanto.
well, in Encanto's just there's a house with world. I don't know if that's a
Well,
one station.
world building doesn't really refer to the world, and the entire world is just
Well,
the
that's fair. What I mean is like to such a substantial degree that everything is like really figured out there. Where it's like okay,
yeah,
casita, magic, and different doors, and so we're very vague on the concepts there. And there's like an indentured servitude thing with the town. I don't,
I mean, then again, those aren't really important to the story they're trying to tell.
fair enough.
But here it kind of is because it kind of like separates like it kind of separates like how would these animals survive? Well, they living together. Well, of course they would have to adapt to the different environments.
Yeah,
So the zoo so Zootopia would have these different environments available for them to habitate in, whatever the proper word is.
right.
But
So,
back on topic.
so yeah, how great is that last second save of Molly when Stu finally gets her, and then he's kind of lingering there, and the train's coming, and then Bonnie pulls him away just at the very last second.
Like, it is pretty cool. It's like it kind of saw it coming, but it was still pretty neat nonetheless. Being able
Let's
just like it just and then immediately gets ruined again when Molly boarding the other train heading back to Bunnyborough.
How did you feel with that? And did you feel like we took another bite at the apple when we shouldn't, or do you think it was like, wait?
Basically it shows them that well, they just realized that they can do it. They can do it again.
Yep.
Even though it's kind of funny that they never mentioned this at all during the main movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh hey, did you see us on the train at all, Judy? What are you talking
Well,
about?
again, they don't really. Well, obviously, there's a retroactive quality to all of this with all these shorts, but practically, you could always say, well, we only see him when she goes back home, so we probably happened off screen.
And it is entirely possible that when she after the whole predator incident that they mentioned it to her then.
Yeah.
So I was just making a joke anyway.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, they
Yeah, all Fooey to you says the fact that they enjoy it at the end is like a date of trying to catch their baby. It's
exactly. It's like you can tell it's almost like they rekindled something along the way too.
yes.
maybe not necessarily rekindle, but realize like, yep, this is why I love this person. You can just tell how much like they for all like the stuff that they said during the actual movie, you can tell they actually do love each other,
For sure.
which is nice. Anything else you just say about these? I mean, these things are only just a few minutes, like 6 or 7 minutes long. So
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we can. Let's transition to the real rodents of Little Rodentia.
and a parody of like the Real Housewives series.
Yeah, so I think this absolutely captured the reality show vibe perfectly. There's some Real Housewives, just in general, like a lot of VH1 kind of reality show with professionals and everything. I love the shaky cam. The shaky camera is my favorite element. I was seeing like the little things kind of move, like they're getting, especially when they get into tips and everything. We do a little Jerry Springer esque kind of thing where we pull them apart.
One of my, I love. I just love the fact that one of them is like explicitly a prison, like she explicitly escaped from prison or something.
Yeah, well, no, she's not. Well, she's
Oh,
not.
no, she just got out of prison.
Yeah, she has like the ankle monitor thing. She's like on a parole, like a house arrest parole thing.
And she's trying to bite it off.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's nice to know that the show still maintains some of the somewhat edgier humor that Zootopia had.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like Zootopia is like the edgiest movie they ever made or anything, but
Yeah.
there was a little bit of that kind of humor in that
It does
movie.
have the most nudity of any Disney movie, though.
Yes, it does technically. I remember you weren't too fond of it when you.
I wasn't. No, I just wanted.
But it seems to have grown on you a bit.
No, I just wanted to poke some fun at. Well, yeah, it is rather adult. Jacob, look at all that nudity. My eyes.
I mean, it probably is one of the most adult Disney branded movies of the time of it.
Plus, we also do talk about kind of prejudice and such. So
So, well, yeah, there is that.
political, kind of corruption in politics, some stuff there. I don't know.
Yeah, but let's talk about reality TV.
Yeah, let's talk about something real. Reality television.
Oh god.
So Frou Frou and True True. So I love Frou Frou so much from Zootopia. I love all the Shrew family stuff here. So I love the fact that Frou Frou has this little.
We actually finally got to see her fiance.
Yeah, we did. I love it. He's like very ancillary. It's like basically okay. So he gave him the occasion. He's just like he says, "Will you marry me?" And they swarm to her. Yay! And he's just like shuffling out of the side. This poor schlub.
I feel bad for the guy, considering weddings are supposed to be for both the bride and the groom.
Well, so long as he doesn't turn into Carlo from The Godfather, we're okay.
It's like, well.
You remember Carlo, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Big did give him a warning.
He did. That's what I'm saying. So you better hope that he actually does follow that advice. Otherwise, we're gonna have like Fruiter's gonna have a brother that's gonna beat him with a trash can lid. It's gonna be a whole thing.
It's like, well, it probably would be more discreet than that.
Yeah, maybe, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, we do. It is kind of interesting to meet True True, because obviously it's another one of those things like, well, we didn't actually see her in the beginning in Zootopia at all, but I did kind of like the story that it went about. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't really even remember the names of any of her friends.
Well, again, I was focusing more on True True, but yeah.
Yeah, but like you can do, like some of them were like, oh yeah, we're like, oh, that looks horrible on her. Yeah, like, oh, terrible. Yeah, it looks great on you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like, does that stuff actually happen?
Well, I mean, in reality shows, there's like fakeness and like, oh yes, like no, man, I hate that lady.
Yeah, but then they realize that, like, wait, if they actually watch this, they'll find out what I actually said.
Yeah, well, it'll be like months away from when it happens. To which they're like, I don't know. There's a lot of holes in reality television, much like cheese in Little Rodentia.
No, that is true.
So,
True, I should say.
Ha!
We're all full of lame puns tonight, guys.
Yes, we are.
Like the movie, remember the movie itself had its own fair share of lame puns.
Yeah.
Like, remember the elephant in the room joke?
Hello.
It's like no, it's like, but first we must address the elephant in the room.
It's her birthday.
It's like, Francine, happy birthday.
God, I love that. That was great, though.
I mean, it's a lame joke, but it's like a brilliant one nonetheless.
But it was the fact that Idris Elba said that, man, it really helped that. So, Francine, Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Chief Bogo. We'll get the Chief Bogo later, kids. Don't you worry. We're gonna buy one get one half off, man. We're gonna do that later.
I'm just glad they were able to get Idris Elba back for this.
Yeah.
Actually, they got majority of the voice actors back for this.
Well, to be fair, some of them were archival, but yes, they did. They
Oh
were.
yeah, well yeah, some of them were archival, but the ones who had to record new stuff, they got the original actors back.
Of course. All right, so let's see. Of course, the idea True True was like a childhood friend and was promised like you get to plan my wedding.
Well, not just a childhood friend, but her cousin.
Right.
House arrest bracket, as we pointed out exactly. This one did come back to the movie with the donut.
So that's what I want to talk about. Something really cool about all these shorts is that there is a linear fashion. So the way they fit into the movie actually is very linear in terms of we start with the beginning of the movie, then the donut onward.
Like if we're gonna go slightly out of order here, like Hop on Board, obviously that takes place during the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the movie with Judy heading on to Zootopia. Real Burns of Little Redentia takes place like the beginning. Well, majority of the movie of the short actually takes place during the beginning, and then which leads into the whole being crushed by a donut thing. Duke the musical takes place. It literally takes place after this, with the whole Duke being taken in with the donut.
Yes.
The Godfather of the Bride takes place during the wedding.
Yeah.
I think it can prance. Obviously, that takes place during like the scene where.
Well, it takes place right before we send back up to
yes, back up, and Dinner Rush takes place just before the concert.
Yeah, so there you go.
So it actually does take place in a rough chronological order, basically within like the same 48 hours.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yep. Does that make Frou Frou's buddy baby nicknamed Juju? And they named her Judy. That's bad juju.
Huh.
It could be like a nickname.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Like, I'm gonna name her Judy.
Yeah.
Wait, does that mean that it was premarital?
Well, no, it means like when we have our kid, eventually we'll name it Judy.
Because it looked like she had a bit of a bump, but I'm just saying.
I didn't.
Maybe it's just a shrew thing. I don't know.
Do you remember when? I'm sorry. Do you remember when she said I'll name the baby Judy? Was that like at the?
Because I remember she said that she was going to have one, and during a bit in the movie.
Huh.
I might be mistaken though.
Yeah, well, I'd have to see it again to really pinpoint that, because I don't know. It might have been. I mean, do you think it was a shotgun wedding? Is what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying it was a shotgun wedding. I'm just saying it might have been like a premarital thing. I mean, I don't know. We're putting too much thought into this.
Anyway,
okay. We're putting too much thought into details we're not entirely sure of.
Jacob, you ignorant shrew.
So basically, we're like half the internet right now.
Yes.
That was when she was threatening Duke.
Right. Huh. Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Let's see where we're. All right. So of course I love the.
It does probably follow like the classic reality TV formula. Like there's like going off on their own, the fight, and then the makeup at the end.
Yeah, and I love the whole like the mother's the idea she threw the base of the wedding her mother would have wanted for her, which is really nice.
It's nice to see like Mr. and Mrs. Big, I guess.
Yeah. Well, wait, wasn't the wife dead and wasn't the mother dead?
Well, I'm just saying I'm talking about in the picture.
Oh, right.
Because remember, she showed a picture of.
Yeah, no, she did show a picture. Yes.
I guess I don't know if like Big is the official family name, but
right.
But I just had nothing else to go on with that. So.
Yes. So point of the ending though, we did the bouquet thing. It was night howlers, man. He was throwing the.
That was a bad idea.
Very bad. Very hilarious ending though.
It's like I feel bad for her fiance, husband now, I guess.
Oh, they'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine, but still had to deal with I mean, if you've been to weddings and seen a bunch of weddings, you can see that brides and bridesmaids can be savage enough without night howlers.
Yep. It doesn't stand a chance.
And I'm just saying, with night howlers, God help his soul.
He's a goner.
I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Duke the musical.
The great Alan Tudyk.
He should. Finally needs to show off his singing chops.
Yeah,
The name's Weaselton. Duke Weaselton.
I actually was able to see his singing chops recently on Harley Quinn.
Oh, nice. Joker.
Harley Quinn season 3. Yeah, he sings as the Joker in an award show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
But
and
I
also,
was
I mean, I know Clayface sang, but I don't know. I don't think that was him. There's a chance it could have been, but I don't. So that would have been as far back as season 2. The point being, he has sang before.
well, I'm not. I said he gets to show up his singing chops in a Disney thing. I
No,
guess.
you're right though. That is the first time I think we've done that here. We get to make him sing in Disney. So,
I wonder if he's. I wonder if he's going to be in Strange World.
well, yeah, we know he's in the trailer of Strange World. Yeah.
Huh, I just didn't see his name listed on the wiki.
Well, no, that's because he never lists his name on the thing, but he's there, and he's also in Disenchanted.
Yeah, I knew that when he's voicing the scrolls,
Yeah, yeah.
which comes out tomorrow.
Uh huh.
Which I'm really looking forward to seeing. By the way,
Yeah.
so
Anywho.
anyway, we might be covering that, but
Yeah. I don't know. Not specifically if we're gonna. Well, probably won't cover a day, but it'll be covered one way or another. I won't make any.
I didn't say. I wasn't trying to say. I was trying to give a specific date.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I won't. Yeah.
And it was more wishful thinking. But anyway, moving on to Duke the Musical.
Yes. So
Obviously, the style of this one is parodying is the Broadway musical or the musical film.
yes, of course, he's singing this song. I think they called it Big Time.
Yep. And I think Giacchino helped. One of the Giacchinos helped write it.
Yeah. When in doubt, call a Giacchino.
I don't know if it was Michael or Mick. I don't remember which one.
I think Michael Giacchino wrote the song. I think he did this one.
He at least did the music for it.
Yeah, he did something for this. Yeah.
Because sometimes like the way writing these songs work is that one person writes the score, another person writes the lyrics.
Yeah, Giacchino Piano Movers. It's a father-son company.
What as Roger says, melody first, my dear, and then the lyrics.
Right.
You get what I'm talking about, right?
Vaguely, yes.
101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know if some people do write both. So I'm just saying I don't know what the one they did here, but yeah, it's a good song. I really liked it.
All right, so again, going linear. This is after the arrest per the donut. So
he got arrested and publicly humiliated, and it's plastered all over the news, which just makes it either both a quick news day and a slow news day.
Both.
If you think about it, it's quick in the fact that it happened recently, and the fact that it's slow because they don't have anything else to report.
At least not yet.
Not yet, anyway. At least not for another 24 hours or so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's night.
Yep, but we basically get to see him after being arrested by Judy on the aforementioned giant donut, which we forgot to mention is what caused Frou Frou to reconcile with her cousin.
Yeah, which is nice. It basically gave her like a near-death experience, sort of introspection thing when Judy saved her from the being donutted to death.
And even said love your hair, and even got someone else with it. I love your hair.
Yeah,
go on.
No, actually, no. You were making the better point. Go on with the hair thing.
It's okay. We're kind of cycling back to Real Rodents of Redemption real quick. It's that's one of the things that that Frou Frou was mentioning was actually I love my dress and I love my hair and all that. No, basically Judy complimented her and all that, and now we know why that meant so much to her.
Yeah.
But moving on, sorry.
Yeah, on kind of a side tangent. We should maybe switch gears from the ice cream. We should focus on the donut.
The donuts.
The donut.
I was actually eating some donut holes earlier.
Really, you're a hole man.
Well, I mean, I like donuts and donut holes.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I can never get behind the hole because it just kind of felt unholy, one could say. It just felt, you kind of, I don't know, you need the traditional. It's not a donut if it's kind of like the weird inverse of the donut.
I mean, I like both, all right?
No, you can lie. I'm not saying you can't like both. I'm just saying that's my view on the donut. I'm just saying.
Don't tell me you never had Timbits.
I've been interested by the Timbits. I have not had the Timbits.
You get on my case for not having food if you've never had
When you wait,
Timbits.
when you say Timbits, do you mean literally the Munchkin donuts? Or do you mean like some the Canadian donut, which is the Timbit?
Canadian. Well,
Well,
I know.
fine, not the fine, not Tim Hortons. Yes, Tim Hortons. Go on.
Technically, Tim Hortons is Canadian, but they do have shops all over in a lot of the U.S.
I believe I recall either you or Tiki told me about
It was me because
oh,
because
yes,
because that was because it was in Turning Red, and I
right,
mentioned how that there's actually quite a few in my home state of Ohio.
which did shock me because again I thought it was an entirely a Canadian thing, but apparently originated in Canada but has gone stateside.
Yes, and they do have good donuts and donut holes, which they call Timbits.
So the Timbit is literally the Munchkin as well.
What's a munchkin?
So a Munchkin is like you go into a Dunkin' Donuts and it's like the little ball that essentially is the whole of the donut. So that's essentially Munchkin, aka Timbit.
Yes, well, they're basically both just fancy words for donut holes.
See, folks, this is when we get into the derivation of the donut, because as you notice, in many different parts of the world, there are different names and variations on the donut. For example, the eclair, you have the eclair, but you also have
which, which is which
the
is the
maple.
which is the French word for lightning, I believe.
Really,
I, yeah, let me check on that.
it's lightningy.
Let me just double check on that.
Well, while he's checking on that, I would like to say, you do have the maple bar, which is in other parts of the world is also called the Long John.
Well, Google's saying flash, so that means it's pretty close to lightning. So
Okay, that's fair.
it's like their word for lightning.
Yeah, so the point. So basically, we should be watching the Eclair on the CW, not the Flash.
Well, flash doesn't have anything to do with lightning, so
It would be hilarious if the Flash did eat Eclairs, though.
that would be funny.
Point being, Long John, Maple Bar, whatever you like to call it, the Timbit, the Munchkin, they're all delicious,
Yes, they are.
and also very potentially lethal if they are roaming towards the denizens of Little Rodentia.
And if they're just or in general a giant-sized donut hurtling towards anybody.
However, though, if you're gonna die, giant donut. There are worse ways to go.
Than being crushed to death by a giant donut.
It's a sweet death, my friend. It's a
Well,
sweet release.
not if it's made of like metal and plastic.
Depending on where it lands, though, there is a chance of survival.
Yeah, not a big one.
Not a big one, but there's kind of a Death Star shaped kind of chance at survival.
Yeah, there is.
Yep, right there, a little exhaust port. Anyway, so Duke the musical.
Yes.
So this is basically
Excuse our tangent.
this is the Duke of Of course, obviously, the Duke always being a parody of the Duke of Wesselton, in which we have like the actual Duke of Weaseltown.
Wait, speaking of ice cream, I just remembered something. Remember and hop on board. We actually saw the car go by naked in his popsicle scheme.
Yeah,
That was a fun little callback.
I know. I love it. Yeah, we're showing how kind of linear we are in the movie. This is him doing the popsicle scheme before Judy's even arrived.
Yeah, but anyway, moving on. We got to see Duke Weaselton actually like uh, basically seeing himself disgraced on the news again, wondering where it went wrong.
So basically, this whole thing is kind of him lamenting an opportunity for change and like all the potential better fit jobs for a weasel. Which, of course, these are very weaselly. At least at the beginning, they're very weaselly, professions, as in like things that would be real skeezy, but again, kind of a more upscale way than the small time crime.
So basically, it's like sell broken cars, then also own the dealership that fixes the cars.
Yep, and then of course my favorite. I love of course we see him as a lawyer and a very shady lawyer. And the best part about this, in Zootopia, there is a Breaking Bad joke. So it's very funny that here,
Walter, Walter,
yeah, Walter and Jesse.
Walter and Jesse.
Yeah, Walter and Jesse, and then you also have, so here we have a lawyer, and again, the detective's lawyer. When he's going in there, he's giving out the fake, neck braces and everything. It's a Saul Goodman move. It's a little Better Call Saul, so we kind of cover a little bit of everything.
Yep, and we're not going to get into the whole musical number. I mean, basically the whole plot is like a long musical number, which is pretty nice.
So it's just him lamenting, like again, kind of like going big time with his weaselly kind of acts here, and you also have like a little nod to like Bikram and like oil being an oil tycoon, and being an astronaut and all these sort of things. I love I love this.
Like,
This is hysterical in the rewatch. I don't know if you caught this. When he's starting to wake up from the musical number, you see like he's kind of falling, and you have like these swirling kind of like figures and kind of things that he's heard. He's imagining a donut with teeth, like a very menacing monster donut, and
yeah,
the donut says, "I just plain don't like you."
him, I do not like you. Isn't that what he said? I do
I,
not like you.
I believe so. I do not like you.
It's like, yeah, I did notice
I
that.
just plain do not like you.
I mean, I think it's one of those like obligatory things that they had to include.
Well, there's the fact it's a scary looking donut with teeth.
Like, you ever, like, you know those moments where you just have an obligatory joke that you know people are gonna groan about it, but you just have to say it anyway.
Yep.
Like, it's like, okay, we're gonna say it, so it has to be said, so I might as well say it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Anyway,
like it actually ends up being kind of the short actually ends up being kind of sad if you think about it.
yeah, and then we have like the opportunity for change. You have this little old goat lady who he's stolen money from. He's like,
he
I'm going to
stole
give that money back.
like he stole the money at the beginning of it,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to give it back, and actually at the end he kind of does almost succeed in giving it to her. But then she gets hit by a armored truck.
She's okay though. We make it very clear because again, it's like one of those things. Censorship was like you can do a lot of terrible things so long as you make sure the person's okay. Like, that's why in cartoons all the time you hear I'm okay.
Like, that's probably one of the reasons why this is also rated PG.
Yeah, that's also why like think about from Hey Arnold with Eugene. That's why we have his catchphrase I'm okay because oh my god we've just maimed that poor child. No, he's okay. He's fine.
It's like, yep, it's like the physical trauma heals, the emotional trauma does not.
No, it doesn't. No, no. However, this old lady seems rather chipper. Like, no, I'm okay. That was fun.
I was referring to Hey Arnold, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying, yeah.
But then again, yeah, never mind. But before we go
No,
off on another, I'm going to stop myself before we go off on another tangent. But
it's the point being, armored truck crashes there, and it's just like just a scratch, and there's that money logo when he's grabbing those bags. He says, "Sorry, goat lady."
he legitimately considers still giving it to her and helping her despite that, but apparently the call was too strong.
I like that he was like the least cordial to her, saying, "Sorry, goat lady, you'll be fine."
It's like, and clearly since it's happening literally to the movie, we knew he wouldn't entirely give up being good, because obviously after this he
He's a bootlegger.
went into bootleg movies.
He's a bootlegger.
Like, I got movies that ain't even out yet.
Yep.
Including one movie that is on there that never even came out.
Yeah.
The Jurassic thing, the movie that was spoofing, never even came out.
Yes.
But that's a story for another time.
All right. So then that brings us to the fourth one, which is also my favorite, The Godfather of the Bride.
Yes. One more thing about Duke, though. It's like,
Okay. One more thing about Duke. What do you got?
I just kind of like how it didn't go for the typical happy ending. Like, he tried to change, but it was just hard for him to do. I think we can all relate to. Way.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, sorry, that was all I have to say to that. And speaking of something a lot of people can relate to, Godfather of the Bride.
I love this.
Maurice LaMarche gets the time to shine again.
One, Maurice LaMarche doing kind of a shrew version of Brando. That's already great, and I love that from Zootopia, is him playing Mr. Big. But in general, though, one, I love The Godfather. I like our parody here, but also I think it had a lot of great pathos. It has a great style to it, and I don't know, there's just that had a lot going on.
It's like you could it definitely into what a lot of Italians went through in reality.
That's what I'm saying. We oddly, despite the absurdity, there's some really great world building for Zootopia. Then you have kind of the parody of Godfather, and then you have kind of the pathos of getting from point A to point B, and you're rooting for this character.
Even if they were just literally just very close to even if the boat ride itself was just not very far.
I love that. It's the gag. There's basically kind of this giant puddle that's on a street of Zootopia, which basically is like the immigrants' kind of plight, sailing over.
But yeah, it is a nice detail.
Yeah. So
But think about it from their perspective. That would be a huge crossing.
yeah. So we have kind of this wedding toast that is the framing device that Mr. Big is given. He's basically going into this Godfather Part Two flashback.
Like and basically the importance of his of the family. It's like and how family it's an old cliche but a welcome one that family is more than just your blood. It's the people you become friends with.
I laughed so hard at this one joke that they had in here. So he's kind of wide eyed, with Grandmama in 19.
Like they don't want to age him too much.
I loved that. So
19.
just covering up with Brando was
It's
that's
like yeah,
great.
the Brando mumble.
Yeah, the Brando moment.
Was that actually a joke? Was that actually something that was happened in the original Godfather?
What happened in the original Godfather?
Not like the 19.
No, no.
I mean, it's been so long since I've seen Godfather Part 1 and 2.
Oh, look, the Godfather has his humorous moments, Jacob. Nothing that broad.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. Like, I wasn't saying. I was saying it could have been like an unintentionally funny thing where he messed up like saying a year, and then this movie just referenced it.
No, but here's a fun fact for you about the Godfather. Brando pulled a prank that I believe is in the movie. It's really funny. When he's injured and he's being taken home, and like the family, all the young men in the family are hoisting him up the stairs. Brando put weights under him, so he was really really heavy.
Oh God!
Well, that Brando.
And the cat apparently was just a cat, the random cat that wandered onto the set.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't actually written into it, but
Yeah.
it kind of worked out.
Oh yeah. Anyway.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's any kind of cats that would fit Mister Big.
No, that'd be a problem though. We had a cat.
Yeah, but it really like showed like basically Mister Big in a way built Little Rodentia.
Which I loved, man. I love the idea of Zootopia in its past before, and I like how we showed the origin of a specific piece of world building for Zootopia, where there was a housing crisis for the small animals of Zootopia. There was just not a place for them. They had to, like, house themselves all over the place versus actually having like a community to live in, like houses that were tailored and built for them. So like Grandmama and Little Big, I guess they are, they're in a shoebox that is turned into a bakery, which is quite delightful. And I love it's like a cannoli business practice. It's a bakery that specializes in
which,
cannolis and
which of course is probably another reference to Godfather.
yep, leave leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yes, I'm guessing that was probably intentional on their part.
Well, yeah,
Like take the gun or yeah, whatever.
yeah, leave the gun, take the cannoli.
I always mess up that line.
Yeah. Fun fact: apparently, cannoli. It's like there's a weird plural thing with cannolis. So it's like cannoli is like a bunch of them, and it's like cannoli. I don't know. There's canola and cannoli is a whole derivation of like.
Conjugation.
Oh, sorry, conjugation. It's a whole conjugation there.
Isn't that like the way it's like how it's worded and depending on like the pluralization and all that?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is that more like the gendered terms? I forget.
Well,
I didn't take Italian. I took French.
right. Not sure. I'm very rusty in my Italian.
I have an Italian family, like step family, but
Hmm.
but anyway, it's like this is like obviously you said this movie. This is actually one of the few shorts that actually adds to the world building, builds upon what was established in the movie.
Yeah, like we see the crime bosses in Zootopia. We have like this rhino crime boss who's just kind of like a street boss who's just making a lot of trouble, and like they're basically kind of taking kind of stealing from the smaller kind of class in there. And I love the working class polar bears. Like the polar bears are like hardworking and they're really overheated in this section of town. And I love like
Yeah.
Mr. Big befriends one of his. We see how Mr. Big got all those polar bears to do his bidding, or it's like a yeah.
an act of kindness. He'd get like use his hard-earned money to buy one of the polar bears ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Everything ties back to ice cream.
Yeah,
and it looked like good ice cream too.
I know it did. Right, it looked like strawberry. Right.
Yep, I'm not a big fan of strawberry ice cream myself.
Really, you don't like the strawberry?
I like my stuff more like on the sugary sweet side when it comes to ice cream.
Well, strawberry sweet.
I said sugary sweet.
Oh,
Like chocolate stuff like that.
chocolate.
Chocolate.
Sorry, few
We we,
SpongeBob gags, folks.
we just went through a whole list reminiscing favorite gags recently.
Yeah. Anywho,
But, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of fruit in my ice cream. Basically,
right.
I can tolerate like salty stuff in my ice cream, but that's about it.
Anyway, I love seeing how it began as like a really act of kindness and a friendship sort of thing. One good deed earns another, but I also love that it eventually there's a
Yeah,
logic. There's kind of the polar bears are now in a part of town that has ice available to them, which keeps them cool, which is also probably a benefit. That kind of is kind of you scratching my back sort of thing.
yeah, but yeah, and but they also still come to help Mr. Big, obviously,
Yeah,
and and basically how the polar bears actually help bring the rest of his family over too.
yeah, and I also love the ice factory thing. The fact that now we have like the signature, like the signature of Mr. Big and how he tortures and ices people. Ice them. And we use the ice factory, and we got the origin for that.
Yeah, it's like he did show that he's ruthless, but does it from a but he's like that for a reason.
But he was like this adorable little kid, like a homemade bicycle from his grandmama, and his little shoebox bakery became like a pillar of the town and everything. And they christened Little Rodentia. Man, it was nice.
I
And
wonder.
also the pathos at the end with the
Yeah,
little altar,
yeah.
little
I,
altar of
I,
grandmama.
I, I wonder if that little cannoli shop's still around.
Oh, probably.
Like, he has grandmama's clearly gone, but
Yeah.
I wonder if he has any other kids or if Roofer's going to take that over. Like, because obviously Mr. Big's gone into like the more crime side of things rather than running the cannoli business.
Yeah.
Because obviously he wouldn't like be running into Nick so much if he didn't step into some shady stuff.
Right.
So, but we understand why he did what he did. He built Little Rodentia, helped the polar bears. That explains why they're helping him. It's like it probably is like the best crafted short storytelling wise in the entire package.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we can say about this one just based on like the world building alone.
Yeah, sure. And again, it's hitting the pathos of like we have like the little cannolis in front of the picture of grandmama and the importance of family around and things. That was very nice.
And of course, he says like, it's like if you hurt my daughter, you'll be iced or something like that. Like, I forget exactly what he says.
Basically, he threatens to ice him.
Basically, it's like basically. So yeah, it's like just hope he never. Basically,
don't become Carlo. No one wants to be a Carlo. Never be Carlo.
Like, or basically make sure if you do break up with my daughter, make sure it's on amicable terms.
Yeah, and Carlo really deserved the worst death imaginable in The Godfather. That guy was a piece of crap.
Yeah. If you think about it, though, Don Corleone is really the only one in that movie to die a peaceful death.
Yep, an orange-related death.
And that was more like a stroke or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah, heart attack. It's been quite a while since I've seen that movie.
Yep.
And then I've seen that multiple times, but I've only seen part 2 once.
Or is he saying, "I taste oranges," and then he died.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on to So You Think You Can Prance.
So this is probably this is probably the standout of the bunch. Now again, not my favorite, but it is definitely I think the go-to for a lot of.
And like if you and heck, just look at it, the logo is different. It's the only one that's not a black background.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it's like we actually get to see more of Clawhauser and Chief Bogo in this one.
I love me some Chief Bogo, so I was happy to see him in this. And the moment I heard, like, okay, he's going to be in this is great.
Like, well, of course they got Idris Elba back too. For this.
Yes.
Which is like, as we said, of course, Idris Elba is just like Chief Bogo is like one of the best parts of the first movie, honestly.
Absolutely.
It's like life is not some cartoon musical where you sing a happy little song and your stupid dreams magically come true.
God
So,
bless.
so let it go.
Just brilliant. Let it go.
Oh God.
Only Idris Elba can make that line work.
Yes. There's a brilliant casting choice.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he's like, "Kidding!" He's learned to lighten up a bit, which is nice.
Yeah.
Which I think in no part is actually Clawhauser helped with that.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, again, a lot of that was fantasy, though, so it's kind of hard to
I mean,
tell.
I'm just saying, like remember at the end, which was what wasn't in fantasy,
You're right. You're right. There's definitely there's an olive branch.
yeah, there's an olive branch where they both realize that they're into Gazelle,
Yeah, so that's the thing. So basically, we have like kind of this America's Got Talent setup where essentially the winner gets the
which is literally like, so you think it can dance.
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, it's literally a show called So You Think You Can
Well, I
Dance.
know that, but I'm saying it has like a judge. Like, let's so you think you can dance have like a judge thing like this.
I believe so.
Well, there you go. And so you think you can dance. So it's basically so you think you can dance set up in which you have like the reward being you get to be Gazelle's backup dancer essentially for the end of the movie.
Clearly, none of the people auditioning wins because it's a dream.
Yeah, exactly. So you have Clawhauser. By the way, I love the gag where he like, puts up the sign like back in 5 minutes or whatever. He's gonna be back at this time, and he rolls over the desk, knocking everything off, including the sign. I love that he keeps rolling over that desk. By the way, it's so impractical. It's funny.
It's like probably the quickest way he can get over.
But you know why I love Clawhauser's little desk?
Why is that?
Always his donuts.
Oh, it's just donuts.
Seriously, it always has donuts, man. Like they're always on his desk. I know it's a cop cliche, but those donuts look good, man.
Did you know how the donut cliche actually started with cop?
Do you?
Actually, I kind of do have like a rough idea.
Yeah, tell him. Tell him.
Like, usually, that's what the stereotype kind of happened is like when obviously cops, they obviously police officers, they work long shifts and obviously into the night. And while the whole donut thing donut thing specifically isn't always what happened, like donut shops and little diners like that, they stayed open into those late hours, finding them a good place, like, to rest a little bit. And so obviously they would see obviously people, you'd obviously always see cop cars, police cars at donut shops. Mainly because they were always open.
Yep.
So, a little fun fact.
Cool.
I just thought, well, we're not going to get, well, that's the only tangent so far for that one. But yeah, so Clawhauser goes there and he calls for backup. And who should come? Who does he call? None other than Chief Bogo, who is none the wiser.
Yep, I love how Bogo is just like he's basically kind of duped into it being like an undercover operation.
Yeah, he's treating it like it's a serious police op.
Yep,
and you can tell he can tell he also kind of gets into it too.
It was like the best line that Idris Elba has in this whole thing.
I mean, can I guess what it is?
Go
like
on.
When he's covering the makeup, like, I look stunning.
I love. I look stunning.
Stunning.
He's just so utterly. He's got such boyish glee in his eyes. Like, look at that, man.
And it's all in a dream still, so who knows?
I also love that Bogo. You buy it. The Bogo's going to be there backing up his guys. So of course he's going to be there on the seat. He's going to be okay. What's the situation? Ah, yes, we got to blend in. It's good. What on earth are you wearing? This is a good idea. We should blend in.
He thinks it's all like practically part of a practical part of the mission.
Exactly. So then, but here's the thing though. It's kind of here's why I'm kind of honestly. I don't think I like this as much as a lot of people. It's not bad, but I think compared to the other ones, because we have this moment where does get bought back, but we have Claw has to go out there alone after he breaks the news to Bogo.
I think the scene carried on a bit too long.
Yeah, it's like seeing just him crash and burn so badly, and we know. I mean, we kind of know where it's going, and beyond that, it just feels like doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the lie if you're just gonna like say it right before you go on? If you like cop to it right before.
Like I think the guilt was getting to him.
I mean, yeah, but he wasn't really. I don't know. He always feeling guilty when Gazelle was right there. Like everything else is like, oh, this is fun. They're quite the dancing team.
Like, yes, they are. Like they're as Gazelle and the other. You are one hot dancer.
Which of course then jettisons us back to reality, in which we see Clawhazard's dozed off and with a little like dancing app game or something. It's like a little.
Basically that's why he was taken revealed what he was doing and why the backup didn't come sooner.
Yes, and then of course he runs into basically back is being called for the climax of Zootopia, and then he runs in to get the chief, and the chief has the app too. It's like, Chief, they need backup. Not a good time. And he says, wait a minute, you have the app too?
No,
Huh?
no.
Chief.
Oh, that guy.
Uh,
O.M. goodness.
yeah.
Oh my god, Clawhouse.
So yeah, it just ties into like it's like leading up to okay, so I happened right before that moment in the movie. Okay,
You're just having a dream, and obviously that's what led to
it
the
was a
kind of.
shared dream.
Like, I don't think Bogo had the dream.
Well, no, he didn't have a dream, but I'm saying it was kind of a shared dream in the meta context. So like they have the same aspirations, only one had a dream sequence.
Yeah. For all we know, Bogo probably had the same dream sequence just separately.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't know, but
Only
Bogo's
I
it.
was the lead butterfly.
Like, you had that dream too?
No.
No. It's like,
No, I didn't. Were you wearing glitter? No, I wasn't wearing glitter.
it's like, Chief?
Did you have wings? Shut up.
Like, no more words, Clawhauser, or you're fired.
Chief.
That's it.
Okay. All right, that brings us to the last short of the evening. That brings us to
Dinner Rush.
Rush.
I think a lot of people relate to this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been a server specifically. I don't know how that came out wrong, but specifically, I said.
No, Jacob, the thing.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Dinner Rush. Go on. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I got a bit distracted. But I said like specifically, and then but moving on. Like, I haven't been a server specifically, but I have worked at a mall food court. So I can definitely relate. I can relate to the aspect of people not being quick in making their decisions when when there's a line.
Yeah, so this I love, of course, Better Call Saul. I've always had a great affinity for mundanity, but I loved like how in Better Call Saul we up mundanity or like mundane situations to Herculean tension-filled scenes. So I love that we kind of have the mounting tension over this very relatable thing that's going on, where it's like people taking forever to order.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a very human short, oddly to say, of course, our anthropomorphic world here. But like the Sam here's got to leave at 6 o'clock to get to the Gazelle concert that she spent almost all her money to get.
I mean, Dragon, I'm sure you've probably been in a situation like that where you got something planned, but then you have to get out of work at the right time just to get there.
Yep.
Like I was at there actually when Avengers Endgame came out. I was seeing it with a group of people. And I had to get out of work at exactly the right time to catch the bus to get there on time, or else I wouldn't have been able to see the movie.
Ah.
And I was able to see the movie, so.
Well, yeah.
Because, you had to see it opening day, or else they'd be flooded with spoilers.
Yep.
Iron Man dies, by the way.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for a movie that came out 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, now you've ruined it for all fooey to you. I hope you're happy.
Like, I'm sure she's probably seen it.
I know, I'm kidding. So, so we have Sam. Sam has like the deal with one last table, but like basically one last table that's coming in before she can leave.
The twist being, it's Flash and Priscilla.
Yep. So Flash, 100-mile dash.
100-yard dash.
I was thinking of the sequence of The Incredibles for a second. 100-yard dash.
It's like, yeah. I mean, there's a Giacchino connection there, but
I know, yeah. So, this is, of course, is the idea. She's giving great service. I love the design of the restaurant. I love the multiple tables and the multiple sections that kind of like fitted to each you get like a tall giraffe and like little rodentia guys. And
it's a rainforest cafe.
Yeah, which is even better.
It's a literal rainforest cafe.
Awesome. So I love that we have really great production design on this thing. We have like the history between her and Gerald. Gerald just doesn't care, but he's kind of mocking her, like, "Oh, you have to get that." I love the visual touch. By the way, I don't know how you felt about this, man, but how great was like that little gazelle sticker that was right above the 12, like signifying when that thing hits that thing, it's gonna be too late, or like basically like she has to be out of there like then.
He kind of reminds me of that server guy from Princess and the Frog in a way.
Yeah, yeah, he's a little like that guy.
I mean, I'm sure it's just. I mean, that's a standard thing when you see like, oh, the waitress and the cook.
Yeah.
you always you always see that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, even like in like look at Muppets Take Manhattan, you always have kind of the scoffing cook, and you have like the waitress. Yeah,
yeah, so it's like it's a old storytelling technique, but one that works.
yeah,
And of course, like everybody can relate to both sides of that. It's like obviously you have Sam wanting to get out of there as soon as possible to get to her concert, and of course you have basically her cook and the I'm assuming boss who just wants her to do her job.
exactly. And of course, she's then dealing with the slowest customers in the history of man of animal kind.
It's like, yes,
It's,
I would like to order.
of course, I love like they're walking, and she just brings the table to them and just scooching them in and everything. And of course, like these, I just love like you kind of I kind of called the payoff here. I was wondering about it with the whole like the bubbly. Because wait a minute, you get bubbly on a special. The whole like shh, and of course when he's like pushing like the finger to the all that.
I'm sure that's a health code violation.
Yeah.
But most of which it definitely is.
Well, nowadays, yes, absolutely, yes.
Well, I mean, it was a health code violation even before then.
Well, sure, but I mean, they'd be more on the reverse side of things. But yes, yeah, sure.
Like I said, even back then, like it's generally not generally frowned upon to directly touch the wait staff.
Well, yeah,
Like I said, it would be even before the whole COVID thing.
yeah,
It was definitely a health code violation.
yes.
But but besides the point,
Okay, point being, enter the slow couple that takes forever to order. And I love the fact that, she's like, everyone else is calling her away, and you very easily should say 1 second, go away, but then they're still in the process of ordering, which she needs to get down so she can get out of there on time.
basically the diner needs to hire more people.
Yes, they do.
Poor Sam. She's the only one. She's the only waiter there or server there.
Yeah. Anyway, so
But you actually got to see a return of Bucky and Pronks and Pronk, Bucky and Pronk. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah,
It's like, yeah, well, we're allowed. Don't expect us to apologize for it. love those guys.
yeah.
I wonder if they were there on a date or anything because we know they're a couple. I'm just wondering if that's what they were there for.
No idea.
Because they're a couple, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, officially, it's been stated like not in the movie or anything, but like outside of it, they're meant to be a couple.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's what they were there for too.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. At the very least, wasn't a proposal story, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a proposal, but who knows? They could already be married.
Yeah, probably. And anyway, point
I
being,
think they are considering they have the same last name.
oh, that's a good point.
Bunky and Pronk Oryx Antlerton are their names.
Huh.
So that leads me to assume that they've already gotten to that point.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, they're still loud even in this. It's like oh, thank you. Shut up. I'm just being nice. You shut up.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It's like, I'm just being nice. You shut up. It's amazing that those two are still together.
Yeah.
Maybe who knows.
Anyway, so basically we have like gags where like he wants Flash wants the bubbly, and of course he wants to do it himself, and of course it's gonna be super slow mo by the time he gets he shakes the thing up and it pops the cork, and which when he does, all heck breaks loose. That thing goes everywhere, and think about how funny this is. It's open so slowly, and yet it moves so fast. The cork.
There must have been a lot of pressure built up in that champagne.
Well, that's the thing. The whole short is building pressure in itself, so it kind of it's symbolic. One could say it's like all this building pressure, and she finally kind of snaps and starts to go off, and then so does the cork.
and everybody's like talking about like worst service ever, stuff like that. It's
Yeah, and of course, what breaks the tension?
like, Priscilla, will you marry me?
No.
Wh-
Oh. Way.
Wait,
Yes.
yes.
So it's adorable.
And
Just
even Flash is just like, wait a minute.
I love that gag. So just him like, oh,
Like even he fell for the sloth slowness.
that was really funny. Oh, by the way, do you remember who Priscilla is?
Kristen Bell.
Yeah,
Do you know who voices Flash?
it's not Zach Braff, is it?
Raymond S. Percy,
Right.
who was a longtime storyboard artist and director on The Simpsons and started working at Disney.
I wonder if that was like a scratch thing. I wonder if he boarded that scene. They kept him in there.
Like I have no idea
That
because I
does
know
happen a lot.
because he also was the voice of Gene from Wreck-It Ralph too. So
Okay, that's hysterical. That might be a scratch thing. Anytime an animator like or a board artist does a voice, it's usually a scratch thing.
I mean, it's entirely possible. But
Anyway,
so it's nice to see that they got both of them back for this.
freaking Gene, man.
Gene's a jerk.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Gene.
But Flash is a nice guy.
He is. Flash is the antithesis of Gene. Flash, very nice. Gene, piece of crap.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, not Gene.
Not Gene, yeah.
All right, so
But basically that turns it around. It's like, oh, best service ever, kind of stuff like that.
yeah, so then everything. Of course, she's very much on board for like, oh, I helped a couple get hitched and everything, even though it did put a damper on my plans. But thankfully, Flash.
We're in a rush.
Yeah.
At least he's able to get her out of the restaurant, and what does that tie into? The ending of the movie and why Flash was speeding in the first place.
And of course, we have this great retroactive addition to Zootopia, where like we saw him in the car, but we didn't see who else was in the cars. We see Priscilla in the back seat, like scratching up the upholstery. It's Sam, like
I think I'll.
for your life.
And she's like, I think I'll walk.
A little late for that, Sam.
It's like, yeah, but we still finally get to see why he was speeding in the first place. He was trying to get to the concert too.
I love that again. Ultimately, the credit, literally the whole movie is like everything with the speeding, everything with the tickets. It's all building to the end credits. Like when they're all dancing during the credits. That's what.
It's
kind of funny. It's like they're literally racing to the end of the movie.
It's like they're racing to the movie, and obviously the fact that they're dancing together at the end of that takes a different meaning now that we know that they're engaged. Because remember, you do see them slow dancing.
Yep.
Or dancing slowly, I guess, during the credits. So
yeah, are they slow dancing or are they just dancing?
They're just dancing. They're separate, so it's just dancing very, very slowly.
Yeah.
Like dancing in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Slow motion. But so now we know they're engaged during that point. But flash, 100-yard dash. Nick. That's still like a great cap off.
Do you think he got a ticket? Do you think he charmed his way out of the ticket?
I have no idea.
I like to think he charmed his. I'd like to think Nick cut him a break. He got charmed out of the ticket.
Now that could explain why he's at the concert.
Exactly. They wait.
That he just has to pay a fine later.
Yeah, sure.
It's still kind of funny. Like, yeah, he works at the Department of Motor Vehicles and all that, and he obviously he's the one who's been speeding. So,
yep.
Now we know why. Well, we know why it was this time, but why is he doing it all those other times? We wonder, and I wonder if he's only speeding because like he puts his foot down so slow, and he just can't take it off without going fast. There's no speed control because he's so slow. Yeah, that he has more control than we think. The world may never know.
Yeah.
Sorry for my tangent there.
All right, that brings us to the end of our little journey.
It was a related tangent, though, so it works.
Yeah.
So, So it is kind of interesting to think about how all these sorts like directly tie into the events of the movie itself.
Would you want to see more? Like they're gonna do like Moana and like Princess and the Frog and stuff. Like, would you
I,
want that in this?
I think those are more continuations.
Okay,
Especially I think the Tiana one's a continuation based on like the stuff I've seen on it,
makes sense.
and I'm not sure about the Moana one. I think that one is supposed to technically a continuation too, and I hope we get to see more Maui, but I doubt it on that one.
Also,
Considering,
the opening of these was really good. Like the little opening, the 2D sequence.
yeah, it is pretty nice.
Yeah,
I recognize some of the names of the 2D animators,
yeah,
so it's nice to see that they're still getting work at the studio.
yeah.
So, heck, even a lot of this, even a lot of, if you've noticed, a lot of the 2D animators are actually instructing people how to do that stuff in the 3D sense too.
Yeah.
So,
Building
so
blocks.
yep, it's like, hey, we had to work with paper, and now we just apply that to the computer.
All right, see, kids, this white stuff, this little kind of flappy white stuff, that is paper.
It's like we know what paper is. We do concept art on it.
Anyway,
It's like we know what concept art is. We know what it's like we know what paper is.
do you now? Huh?
Yes.
Oh, well, let's just skip over this part of the lesson then.
It's like it was like I prepared a 12-hour lesson on this.
Like, you don't know anything about paper, kid.
Yeah, I do. It grows on trees.
Doesn't grow like the tree gets cut down and turned into this gold, whimsical flappage.
Do you know how to use a computer?
Yeah, shut up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, growing pain. Like we know it's like it is nice. Like I said, seriously though, it is still nice to know that the 2D animators are still finding work and all that at the studio,
Yeah,
despite obviously the major switch to 3D.
yeah, it's a mixing of mediums.
I do hope still we get to see more of the Render Man, not the Render Man, the Paper Man style.
Yeah, that would be. I'd love to see that.
Like I say Render Man, but that's the obviously that's this animation renderer that's used at Pixar.
Yes.
If you notice, they actually used Presto to animate
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah, they did.
It's like so interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
So, all right, anything else we could say, Dragon? But would you like to see like another like series of Zootopia shorts, or even like a sequel to Zootopia?
Well, that's the thing. If they did more, I would probably suggest that they. I mean, if they did more, I'd probably want it to be more in a sequel kind of context, and I would like more stuff in between the movies. Not like a midquel, more sequel, less midquel. Not that I had a problem with the midquel. I'm not saying we can't get more out of the midquel, but we we can only go from that well for so long, you know.
Like we could. I mean, we could do like even like a full length series on Zootopia if
Yeah.
possible. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to be pulled from this world.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we've only seen like the only seen this we've only scratching the surface of the world of Zootopia. So
That is true.
hopefully, so maybe down the line we will see more of the Mammal Metropolis. But until then, this is a good palette. This was a good refresher and a good trip down memory lane.
All right. So that'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes. Till the next installment calls for the draw. Mano y mano, just plus and us.
Yes.
Ice cream.
I like it.